Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us tonight on the program. So our attention is on Edo State first and foremost. So there's been this back and forth, a brickbat, if you must call it, between the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party. Well, one person that's been on the receiving end these days is being the governor of the state, Governor Obaseki. Is also ensuring or running to ensure that is the candidate of the PDP succeed him in office. Well, it's natural, isn't it? Because he is a member of his party, and of course, a lot of people say he's responsible in bringing him into the scheme of things. But then there's been these personal attacks, and there are those fundamental questions that we need to be asking beyond the politicking. And the personal attack is an issue of governance. Yeah. What can Governor Obaseki say is going to be the legacy he's leaving behind? What are those things that he would have said he's done over the last 7 years that will convince the people of Edo State to look in the direction of a PDP candidate, since he's rooting for Asue Igodalo? So that one man that you usually don't see talk, who is always by the side or behind or holding forth for Governor Obaseki, because he's always in the kitchen cabinet. He's the chief of staff to the governor, who joins us live tonight. Osagbovo Iyoha is live for us from Edo State. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I mean, it's interesting that you are talking. Usually, we don't hear you, but we see your work. That's sometimes what happens to those who play the role of chief of staff. But whatever that is making the cat meal during the day must be something very significant. I'm particularly bothered about the political brickbat. I'm particularly bothered about the personal attacks. What has gotten too bad? I mean, how have things gotten so bad to the extent that there's now being personal attacks on families of the political heavyweights in the state? Why?
Thank you, Sean. The reason is not far-fetched. When we have a situation where there's a candidate PDP that is talking to his people, and then the other party doesn't have a candidate that will talk. It's talking via proxies. So what do you expect? They don't have something to campaign about. They don't have something to talk about. So they have to make it personal. But we are undaunted, and we are saying that this is what we have done. We want you to classify us based on what we have done. And you tell us what we want to do, because this is what we want to do. Tell us why you want to change a winning team. So if they don't have those details, you expect there to be personal attacks. But like Michelle Obama said, he said, when they go low, we go high. We have issues to talk about. We have things to campaign about. We have reasons to tell Edo people that we have to move ahead and keep on looking forward. But on the other side, they cannot get a single topic to talk about. So what do? They have to use their proxies to start attacking people and throw out the lies, lethargic people and all that. So, they see it's low energy and they go so low. But we said, no, we will not go on that track. Let's go higher. Let's tell the people where Edo was when we came in 8 years ago, where Edo is now, and where we see Edo in 30 years. And that's why we launched the Edo State Physical Master Plan last week, so that the next generation will know where we are headed. So for us, the issues are very, very clear.
Yeah, that's what let me quickly ask you. What exactly is going on with your principal? For those of you who are left working with him, there's this notion and the fact that there are a huge number of people who have left him politically and also within the administrative ranks. Why are people leaving the rank of Governor Obaseki?
Well, Sheil, through this, we have changed politics in Edo, and we have changed it forever. We are not going back to Egypt. Before now, you had non-state actors running Edo politics, our revenues and all that. And those are the revenues Obaseki said no. One of the first things he did when he came in was to sanitize governance. You understand? We started running government as the way you run your personal business. You understand? You don't spend what you don't earn. You understand? So these guys that you're talking about, sure, I must tell you this. I see your program and I see your followers and all. You are trying to push Nigerians to where we should be. We are all today very, very unhappy with the sorry state of things. Power lies with the people. It doesn't lie with one or two leaders that are here and there. They'll tell you that, oh, like the tortoise in the old folk tale, I represent all of you. No. We have a critical mass of young people today that are in they are a very huge number or percentage of the population, you know. And these guys, they know what governance is supposed to be. They are well read. So who takes care of them? It's the government, and they are the government. They are the people. So the political actors, they are not happy with Obaseki because Obaseki decided that, look, it's the people that have the power. The people first. That is what service is about.
Is that the
so
case,
when these leaders get their hands on our
is that the
common
case,
patrimony, it became a problem.
Yeah, is that the case, or the fact
that's what the fight is about?
Yeah, is that the case, or the fact that he's not been able to manage his political resources properly, and those around him who have left him, his deputy, no longer on his side, Senator Matthew Aide, a long list of even federal lawmakers who are no longer speaking for the PDP or on the side of the PDP and have moved to the other side. This does not speak volume about the character of the principle that you work for. And those who will say, who else is a political bigwig in the PDP left that you can point at that were there for him or who received him into the party?
Why would we, for example, jettison a case of zoning, for example? You understand? Philip Shaibu wanted to be governor. And for Christ's sake, there's this arrangement that has been there. What happens to equity, fairness, and justice? You understand? If he had accepted that Philip Shaibu would become governor, Philip Shaibu would still be here today. Aide left because he did not win the Senate election. Primary, sorry. So the governor says, you guys go to the field. The election is a game of, if you have the numbers, you win. Aide didn't have the numbers, so he had to leave. So if you also know politics, like these old school politicians, it's about what I can get for myself. So if they don't get it today, tomorrow they jump ship.
So, but beyond that, Dr. Osaigbovo, is what, I don't know, the governor will be telling the Edo people. Because I've had conversations with people about Edo politics, and the questions they were asking is, what has Obaseki done? So much that it could use to convince the people of Edo State when they go to the polls, because they call him the MOU governor. They say a lot of MOUs, but little action. A lot of infrastructure promises, but nothing to show for it. What will you be saying? You are probably one of the closest person to him in terms of administration of the state. How do you convince, if you have one single shot or one opportunity to make one single sentence about the performance of Governor Obaseki in the last 7 years, how do you convince the people of Edo State that he is a man that should be believed in, or his legacy can be pointed at?
I have a couple to throw at you. Number one, this was the epicenter of prostitution and illegal immigration 8 years ago. But immediately Obaseki came in, he took care of that. And today, you cannot mention Edo in the same breath with illegal migration or prostitution. And we have more. Is it the Edo best? Is it the Edo innovates? Is it the Edo technical hub where we have brought in professionals like Decagon to assist us and so that we can bring in and train software engineers? In what sector? Is it the Edo health insurance sector scheme that we have launched? There is so much to talk about, Sheon, if time would allow us. He has done so much for this state, and we know where we were 8 years ago. Is it security? You heard Rema, the guys that brought Rema told us that this is probably their most successful show that they have ever had. We had 11,000 people in the stands of Ogbe Stadium and probably another 11,000 in the field and outside. It has never happened before. Ask the organizers. And that is a show that started as early as 7 p.m. and ended at 3 a.m. And we had no incidents of a phone being stolen or somebody being attacked. A lot has been done in this state. The people of the state know, and on the 21st, they will come out to give their verdict.
All right, let's take a bit of an intellectual perspective to this analysis, and you are probably one of the best persons to put it into perspective. So, as a PhD holder, we know how to do analytical defense of a subject matter. So, I'll give you maybe 7 to 10 indices that you can base your measurement of governance on. So if you are to speak to any person who is of international, has an international interest in Edo State, you'll be talking to them in terms of indices, figures. And let me mention a few to you. The Education Performance Index in the state. Where did Obaseki meet it? What is it right now? Employment rate or unemployment rate. What was it? What is it now? Underemployment, where was it? What is it now? Poverty rate in the state, how has it been reduced drastically, if it has changed or not? Where was it? How is it right now? Misery index, how would you judge it? Crime rate in the state, what are the statistics to define it? The productive rate of the people of Edo State, how will you judge it? If you can give us statistics to these indices, because if you stay here and start talking about what has been done and what has not been done, but with these indices, you can easily convince anybody to say, Obaseki has taken the IGR from this level to this level, he has taken unemployment rate to this level and to that level. Maybe those who are watching tonight will have a proper perspective of what Obaseki has done over the last several years.
Okay, let's start with security. On a scale of 10, I would give this government 70%. That's 7. Because we know what we have done in the security sector. For example, when we came, we set up the Edo State Security Network. I can tell you for free that before this time, the Nigerian police would only successfully effect arrests by themselves in about 3 local governments, Oredo, Ego, Ekpoba, the big 3 by themselves. But since the security network came in, we know what they have been able to do. We were riddled with kidnaps on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day, along the Abuja corridor at the Onwode axis. But since we have come in, that is a thing of the past now. Just by thinking and talking with our people, and then we put in necessary resources in place to make sure that we plug that. In the education sector, we have moved from analog to digital. You have heard of Edo Best. We have changed the pedagogy of teaching and everything. And today, all our teachers, over 15,000 of them, have been trained and retrained. They keep on getting trained. Over 400,000 pupils have benefited from these schemes. So much has happened in this state. If I remember, which other
now you just make an assessment, a self-assessment. I'm talking about statistics, confirmed statistics, indices.
Yes.
I spoke about unemployment rate. I spoke about misery index.
Every government, every responsible government, if you ask me, what government does is to create that environment where businesses can thrive.
But Dr. Osagbo, I imagine that as an intellectual, I imagine that as an intellectual, it's easy for you to extrapolate and be able to analyze with statistics what your government has done, because it's easy for you to say unemployment rate was so. I can tell you the unemployment rate in Edo State, what it was and what it is right now. And I can tell you the unemployment rate in Nigeria, what it was 4 years ago, and what is it right now. These are simple statistics. You can be able to tell the inflation rate in Nigeria. You can be able to tell the GDP. You can be able to tell how many people are out of jobs, how many students that are on the street who are out of school. It's easy to tell.
I can only tell you where we are now and where we were coming from. You understand? In 2016, when Godwin Obaseki became governor, I was a member of the House of Assembly then. So we knew what was on ground. We did not have a place where the investors could come in as a state.
What was the crime rate? What was the crime rate like?
It was horrible.
How many people were being killed on the streets of Edo State?
Even in
now, what is it right now? Because those are easy ways to say. We cannot just be pedestrian in the conversation. We need to put perspective to it.
Pedestrian conversation. It is what's on ground. It is where we are coming from as a state, because the other party, they don't have anything to talk about. It's to feed people with lies. So we have to tell our people what we have been able to achieve through the years. You understand? We had cult groups coming into government house asking for their own money before elections. But immediately Obaseki came in, we trashed all this, and when you come to government house today, it's like a place where you can transact good business. There is trust from investors. People come in, when they see what is on ground, I'd say, okay, yes, these are people who could do business.
So, how many jobs have been added since Obaseki came? How many schools have been newly built? How many schools have been renovated? How many hospitals have been added? I'm just asking to be able to guide. It's an opportunity for you to establish the legacy of your principle tonight. And that's what I'm trying to
What we are working on is one primary healthcare center per ward. We have 192 wards in Edo. Regarding the schools, for once our children are learning, it's not about the infrastructure, just the infrastructure anymore. They are learning. And I don't know if you have heard this case of the student who was in primary 2, his elder brother was in primary 5, as at when the governor came in. And then the parents realized that the primary 5 pupil couldn't read. But the primary 2, who had gone through Edo Best, could read. So the parent was forced to approach the school and say, look, this is happening in my house. And so what happened? They had to advise the boy to drop classes so that he can benefit from Edo Best. So it's interesting to know that Edo State has one of the highest numbers of private schools in Nigeria. But since we have come in the last couple of years, we have witnessed a trend where parents are now pulling children from private schools and bringing them into public schools so that they can gain from what Edo Best has done.
Dr. Osagbo, just a moment, so that we can
what we are doing.
So that we can wrap up the conversation.
Rwanda has brought people to see what to study Edo Best so that they can reciprocate it in their own climes.
All right. How would you say, generally speaking, that Edo State under Obaseki has been? How would you describe, just in one sentence?
We have a good story to tell under Godwin Obaseki, Edo State. We have taken it, moved it miles ahead of where we met it. And we have no doubt that Aswe Igodalo is even going to take it twice, thrice more than what we have done.
Is Aswe Igodalo the best of the candidates that we have on offer today? And why?
Is that a question?
Yes. Is it the best man for the job? And why do you think so?
I think one of the problems we have had as a country is the process with which we recruit leadership. Aswe Igodalo he has thrived in his private businesses. He stepped down away from 17 companies, from the board of 17 companies, to become governor. The other candidates, can you tell me what they are stepping away from?
All right. Just so that we can clear the air and close this conversation, what is this about Governor Obaseki's wife and the response that we're getting from Senator Adams Oshiomhole? Is it possible that we can get some clarity and what exactly is the Governor Obaseki office? How is it reacting to that matter?
I would have refrained from giving this issue meat. However, I would just like to throw some light into it. At Ubiaja, on the flag of ceremony, while the First Lady was speaking, she was trying to introduce Ifeyinwa Igodalo, that's Aswe Igodalo's wife, to the audience. And she said, if I leave this seat as First Lady, you know what I've done towards empowering the female gender, empowering women. From day one, once this woman comes in, Mrs. Igodalo, you are sure that women are going to be empowered. She would fight your cause and all that. And as we speak, she's the only person out of the candidates that has a wife that will hit the ground running on day one. You covered it live. That was a harmless statement. And then you have somebody who's supposed to be an elder statesman come down so low to the level that he has taken himself. That's what she said. And we know in Benin, in our state, is forbidden, the kind of statement that he made. And the women will pay them back, will pay his party back with, he pay it back in his own coins, bad coins, come 21st of September. We have no doubt. It's forbidden in our state. You don't do that. In engineering, we call that practical jokes.
All right.
Practical jokes are hazardous.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Dr. Ozaibovo Yoha, who is the Chief of Staff to the Governor of Edo State. You don't usually see his likes in broad daylight, but when you see them, it means that there is a need for the masquerade to dance in broad daylight. So thank you so much for coming in defense of Governor Obaseki's performance and his legacy. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.